Hi.
Hello. Welcome to CraftQuest On Call. I'm Ryan Ireland, live from Austin, Texas, where it's currently 91 degrees and feels like 90. That seems wrong. It's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be vibe coding today, and I'm stoked about it. Vibe coding. And by we, well, actually, I'm going to do all the vibe coding. My partner here, my co-host, Andrew Welch. I don't know, what are you going to do, Andrew? You going to be the judge of the vibe coding? Is that? Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, Ryan. What?
What did I just witness?
I'm bulking up, getting ready for it. I'm bulking up.
What? I'm also bulking up. If you couldn't tell, this camera, the lens takes about 50 pounds off me.
Is that how that works?
It's these wide angle lenses. All right, now I've lost my train of thought because I can't tell. Is that still protein shake on your beard, or is that just gray hair? I can't tell from here. Yeah, I think that's just gray hair. Okay.
Gray hair. Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Is that distracting?
No.
You're like, should I leave a little?
No.
Something right here during the whole broadcast.
No.
To pick you out?
No milk mustache. None of that, please. Thank you. Yeah. So today we are going to be vibe coding. On the last live stream, I gave a spiel about why everybody is wrong about AI. And I actually went back after we did that and I re-recorded that presentation and added it to the catalog. So there's the entire presentation here. And then I snipped out one part about using AI for learning, which honestly for me is the most important part of all of this. And then about why I think people tend to be anti-AI. So there's this disruptors not disrupted video is that one. But this live stream, this is all about the vibes. It's all about having fun and seeing what two different tools can do when we just vibe code with them. So to set the...
What'd you call me?
I didn't call it... Yeah, well, I mean...
Tool 1 is the AI, tool 2 is me. All right.
I didn't...
Wow.
We actually haven't planned what we're going to build because I wanted this to be, this is authentic, man. Like I want this to be a real world situation. But
that's what people want to see is two middle-aged guys flailing on camera. That's what everyone wants to see. All right.
Well, All right. So vibe coding, I'm sure everybody knows what this is, but it was originally conceived as sarcasm, as a joke, by Andre Karpathy. Is that right? Yeah. And the idea is that you're coding with LLMs, with like ChatGPT or Claude or other tools, and you're not really writing any code. If there's bugs or errors or something isn't working as you expect, you tell the AI what's wrong and to fix it. And then you get a bunch of code back and then you copy and paste that code in if that's the type of workflow you have until I guess it works. So it's all vibes, no code. You just, you're trying to bootstrap your startup, man. Trying to make mills. But I thought that we would do that. And to be fair, I'm not at all anti-AI tools. As with most things in life, I tend to find myself sitting somewhere in the middle, which makes for not a very fun existence in this world. I feel like it's more fun if you're in one of the extremes. But yeah, so be it. All right, Andrew. So before we get into that, though, another little AI thing. is our friends from Double Secret Agency and Lindsay DiLoretto, they launched this week the plugin Sidekick, which is an AI companion for rapid craft development. We're not using this today, and I actually haven't used this since it's been released, and I'm curious what that's all about. But you can check out that plugin if you're into AI and how this could work for Craft CMS development. So check that out, and also check out these new videos. And then last week's live stream where Andrew and I also talked about some AI, that is up on the site as well. It's right here. CraftQuest on call. Everyone is wrong about AI. And yeah, but let's do our vibe coding, Andrew. What do you say? Are you ready for it?
I'm ready as always, Ryan.
All right.
I was told, for everyone who's out there watching, I was told, don't do any prep.
Yep.
Just show up fresh.
Yep.
We're going to see what happens.
Yep. That's it. I just want all the vibes from you. All the vibes.
They don't have to be good vibes, right?
I mean, I don't, yeah.
Are vibes always good? They're not always bad.
No, vibes aren't always good.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think vibe coding, it's supposed to be like just the feels. Like you're just going with it, man. But let's put that to the test. We're going to use two different tools. The first one we are going to use is Claude AI. And this is more of your traditional chat-based AI tool, kind of like ChatGPT.
And who makes that?
This is by a company called, I think, Anthropic is the name of the company.
Yep.
And I would say that ChatGPT and Claude, like if you pay for AI tools, I think those two tend to be the front runners for these types of chat-based AI tools. So we're gonna use that.
I've been hearing some good things about Gemini too.
Yes, Gemini is amazing. I actually use Gemini. I think it's the best for the deep research mode they have. I think I demonstrated that last time. That's really, really good. But we're going to use Claude because I know it's popular. And then the other one we're going to use is a tool called Warp. And Warp's a command line tool. And we're going to use the pair programming mode. You also have the agent mode or the dispatch mode where you tell it what you want. It just goes off and does it without any interaction from you. So, but I think we'll do the pair programming mode. So we're going to have Warp be the other half of the pair here.
Because I'm paranoid and don't know what it's going to do, anything that had terminal access, I would run that inside of a Docker container.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, it prompts you. So it's kind of, it goes through what it wants to do and it tells you. So I think it'll be fine.
I believe that, but I've also been reading about Cursor and how it will generate code that uses vulnerable NPM packages that are explicitly designed to exploit your server.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a new machine. I can just wipe this thing, but we're not actually going to deploy any of this code anywhere. So Andrew, what should we build? What do you think our goal project should be here? What does someone need to build? We're building a plugin for Craft CMS. That's the baseline here. I had a couple of ideas. One, I always think back to there's a course on CraftQuest that Ben Croker did where he built like a really simple plugin called Entry Counter that counted views for entries, and he chose that obviously for pedagogical reasons because it demonstrates a lot of the basic techniques of plugin development and the interaction between the different components. What's that?
What did you call Ben?
Nothing. A handsome chap who travels the world. And then we could also build an SEO plugin. I think that might be fun.
I'm down.
You want to build an SEO plugin? That seems kind of
You can build
complicated, though.
whatever you want, man.
It seems too much, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't honestly. I don't know I have used these tools. Honestly, it's probably been over a year since I've
Okay.
used them, and my experience using them was sort of like, what the hell is this? Like, I would
Yeah.
ask it to generate various things, and it would sometimes give me useful stuff, and other times I was like, what the hell is going on? I don't even know the capabilities. Like, I don't know if you can just say, scaffold me out a whole plugin, and if it will generate all the files for, like, I have no idea.
It will. All right. If you're cool with it, let's do an SEO plugin, because I feel like that actually is hard to do. In terms of the AI understanding exactly what we want to build. So, what should we call it?
I was thinking, and maybe this is too simplistic, but I was also thinking something that would build a plugin that added a panel to the Craft side view, the sidebar, so that you could then, well, just because it's like a common thing, so that you can then display various information.
Yeah.
Relevant to a conversation I had recently with somebody else. They were building a deployment status thing, which basically, so they've got a site that's generated by Nuxt, I believe, and they wanted to coalesce the author changes so that it would be on a delay, so that every time something was changed in Craft, it wouldn't necessarily trigger a rebuild. And there needed to be a page that displayed the status in terms of when the last deployment was done, how long until the next automatic deployment, and then a little button that said, like, deploy now.
Yeah.
But, that's a very specific thing. But the idea of displaying an additional panel in the CP is something that, it's a pretty common thing, and seems like it should be an easy thing for it to do, but I don't know.
Let's actually do that, because I kind of wonder if it will be able to manage that. Let's do that. So,
and if it could generate like a plugin I'm thinking of is I think it's called asset usage or something like that, but it will create a page and it'll show you where all of your assets are used. And I have no idea how good this thing can go.
What is it called? Like a side panel? What's it called in Craft? Do you know? Is there a name for it? Official name for it?
Probably. Craft sidebar, side panel.
Yeah. All right. So in in Claude, we're going to create a project first. It's just an easy way of organizing things, and you have to go back for multiple chats or something. You can have them all organized in a project. But now we're going to give it our instructions. You can also give it project knowledge, so I could give it some specific instructions, but we're going to vibe it here with just instructions. I'm going to get this rolling.
CP nav, like in Craft parlance, it's called the CP nav.
Okay.
So if you want to create a new thing in the Craft CP nav, you're creating a CP nav item.
Oh, I thought you meant like a panel, not the navigation on the side.
Well, what's the difference?
I thought you meant like, where you have the SEO-matic like preview for like how the metadata looks like for Google.
Oh, in a sidebar for entries. No, I was actually thinking an actual sidebar in the Craft CP.
Oh, and then you click on that and it shows something.
You click on that and it shows you a page or whatever.
Okay, we can do that. All right. I think that's actually fairly straightforward. Okay, now I understand why you said that too. All right, create a Craft CMS control panel navigation item that allows me to, what do we want to show on it? Display information about the Craft CMS website. We'll just say entry count, user, kind of like a dashboard. We'll see what it does. users, recent users, and and anything else you'd like.
Do we need to say create a Craft CMS plugin that adds?
Yep.
So that you should probably change your prompt up there.
Create a Craft CMS plugin that adds a control panel navigation item. And I'm going to say 5. All right.
We probably want that page rendered as twig, but do you want to refine that in later conversation, or you want to do that now?
About the Craft CMS.
In other words, that page that displays the information should be a twig template, probably. Doesn't have to be, but usually that's the pattern that you do it in Craft.
Okay.
But you know what, though? You know what? I wonder. Maybe don't do that, because
see what it does?
one of the things about building a plugin, or one of the things that still requires some knowledge, is like you would have to kind of know that that's the pattern. It would be interesting to see what it comes up with on its own if you don't tell it to do it that way.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold back like my and your knowledge on what to do, because we don't want to give it too many hints. Although
we don't need a very big dam to hold back our knowledge, right?
I'm talking about like with plugin development. Like you can be very
just splash along and clog up our
all right, this is what we're going to use. Create a Craft CMS 5 plugin that adds a control panel navigation item that allows or that displays. Let me just grammatically correct this. That displays information about the Craft CMS website, entry count, recent users, and anything else you'd like. Okay. We're using Claude 3.7 Sonnet, and we're just going to kick that off and let that think. I'm going to, we'll come back to that. Let's go to our
so
Warp.
People are asking questions in chat in terms of what we're doing. And Matt Bloomfield says they've hardly started, which is true, but funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go quickly here. So let me go into. So this is Warp. The best way to use this, in my little limited testing to make sure that I at least knew like the best way to use Warp, is to go into the project. See how like this is telling me. Like you can never use the command line, and it's basically walking through how to use the command line, which is
now. Why are we using this? Why are we not just using Claude to do everything?
We're using Claude to do that, and we're also using Warp to generate the same thing. But we're going to see how the two different workflows work.
And what is Warp using as a model LLM under the hood?
So Warp is you can choose. Warp is using. Let's see. Oh no, where is it?
And Matt Bloomfield says you're also using the rarely used project view in Claude.
Really used? I feel like, I don't know. All right. So, and
he's saying that you should use Claude in the command line agent mode. It's the only way to do this. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We're using this. So we're using pairing mode here. We're in our CraftQuest project, which I have up and running right here. This is the project that we built in Real World Craft CMS, which you can find at craftquest.io/courses. All right. So we're going to say, create a Craft CMS 5 plugin that adds a control panel navigation. So the same exact thing. All right, so now it's saying this job is quite complex. Would you like to plan and auto execute with dispatch or proceed without a plan? And I want to create a plan.
Are you going to YOLO?
Well, no, I'm going to have it create a plan. And I want to see what questions it asks back to us. And while it's thinking,
I wonder if it's going to be smart enough to know that it should create the plugin folder in a symlink kind of stuff, or if it's going to create it right in the vendor, or what it's going to do.
Right. All right, so it's already, so it looks like Claude has already created this for me. Oh, it's created it in like all these different, like it's giving me here the plugin structure. Now, because we're doing it in the chat tool.
Oh, I did create twig templates. Nice.
Yeah, you're going to have to take these and go create your, like, generate using Craft Generator, generate your own plugin, and then copy and paste the code in.
Oh, so it doesn't actually create the files for you.
I think you can ask it to, and I think that maybe that's what Matt was referring to.
Yeah, I bet you did it in the CLI agent mode. I bet you then it would do it.
I'm going to say create each file separately to make it easier to create a plugin package. All right. So here we go. All right. It did ls LA, and it says this appears to be a Craft CMS project directory with a typical setup, including so forth. And the reason I did that, because I did just a little bit of testing to know that this all works better if you're inside of a Craft project. Otherwise, it tries to create, tries to like do composer install and create a pack. Like it just, I don't need it to do that. I just want to, I'm in the context of Craft. And now it's going to give me this whole overview here to, this is annoying. To create what it's going to do. So create a new folder named Site Overview within the Craft CMS plugins directory. So it's going to create a plugins directory in the project. And it looks like it's going to, I guess, maybe require that as a local package. Main plugin configuration, plugin.php with your namespace, create a controller. So let's say I've never created a plugin before. I'm like, yeah, this looks good. Let's roll. This is great. A statistics service. Okay.
I mean,
oh,
it's not how I would do it, but okay.
All right. Well, share. What are you saying? Like,
Go
you
back
wouldn't
up
create
to step 1.
Here. Oh, creating a new folder, right? Like, obviously, you would have this. You would use Packagist or a different way of doing it, right? You wouldn't have it included in the project.
Well,
like
some
that.
people do this with, well, they'll have in their actual project, they'll have a plugins directory, and it's not the best way to do it, especially if it's going to be a public plugin that's going to be published somewhere.
Right.
Really what you want is a separate directory where the plugins live, and then you add a composer path repository to point there so that you can do all the normal composer things like require, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep. All right, let's just do, we're vibing here, and let's just assume that we don't know any better. We're going to have it run
all right.
this job.
See what it does.
All right, it's starting to implement the plan by first creating the basic plugin scaffold. All right, it says the plugin directory is created. So it kind of steps you through the whole thing. I'm kind of wondering if it's going to install it for us too. Where are we at here? Site overview. This is the main plugin class file in the source directory. So it needs to extend craft-based plugin, define the control panel navigation item, set up custom permissions, register a statistics service, include proper documentation, and implement core functionality. All right. 2 files for the services and a model. Let me first ensure the directories exist. So far it hasn't had to correct itself. I'm curious if it ends up doing that. Let me just put this up full screen for everybody to see. So it's trying to ensure that directories exist and then create the files. It just created the directories. I should know. All right, now we need to create the controller and template files to display the statistics. All right, so it's kind of talking to itself and sharing what it's doing as it goes. And this is that pair programming mode. The other mode, you just dispatch it and it just goes and does it. It doesn't share.
Yep.
If you're using a tool like this for learning, not specifically for learning plugin development, but for learning anything, then you definitely, that feedback where you're seeing what it's doing and why it's doing that is good to know, because you can vet that and match that against your own knowledge, especially if it does something unusual. And this tool seems to ask you for any like next big steps to confirm what it's going to do. All right, so core plugin files have been created. Now let's create an icon for the plugin and any remaining assets. So it looks like it's doing the normal icon, the masked version, and then a translation file.
I wonder what it's going to give us for an icon.
Yeah. It says I'll create a simple, clean SVG files that represent the concept of a site statistics or overview.
Whatever that means, yeah.
All right, now that we have created all the necessary files, let's make sure everything is in the correct place and create any missing directories. We'll also need to update the main composer.json file for the project.
Now, you told me that Warp can use several, but did you tell me what model this is using exactly?
I think it's using... Oh, hang on one second. Okay, here it is. You see how it made a mistake here? Mm-hmm. It just did composer install, and then it realized that we're in a DDev project.
That's pretty impressive.
And then it realized that it needs to do composer update because it updated the composer.json file.
Yep.
All right, so it's installing CraftQuest site overview. Oh, it looks like I had an update to run. Great, the plugin has been successfully installed via Composer. Now we'd install in the Craft CMS using Craft command. DDev Craft plugin install site overview. All right, there's a compatibility issue with get CP nav item in our plugin class. We need to update the method signature to match a parent class by adding a return type declaration.
Yep.
It must have been using...
Interesting that it got it wrong to begin with. That's kind of interesting.
That's the difference between PHP 7 and 8. Is that right?
No, it's the difference between Craft versions.
Oh, Craft version. Okay.
Yep.
So I wonder if that means that it tried to run it and then is reading the errors back. All right.
If I had to guess, it's getting some of its source information from older plugins, and then it's realizing that it doesn't work and figuring out what needs to be updated. It would be my guess in terms of what's happening under the hood.
All right. So it tried again. Another method signature compatibility issue. So now it's updating the create settings model. They fixed that. All right. So that worked. Oh, wait. We used the wrong event constant for registering CP nav items. We need to use the correct constant from web twig variables CP class. I need to fix the CP navigation item registration in the site overview.php file. It indicates that we're using a non-existent constant event register CP nav items.
So again, this is what makes me think that its original source information is from an older version of Craft.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's trying it and it's realizing it doesn't work, and then it's fixing itself.
Yep.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah. All right, it fixed that. Oh, excellent. The plugin has been installed, Andrew. Plugin list. So it uses the, let me click on that. Okay, I didn't realize we could click on these so you can see what it's doing. So it's using the plugin list, and it looks like must be like grepping it or something like the output to make sure it's there to check its work. All right, you can now access the site overview dashboard in your Craft CMS control panel at the URL/admin site overview. All right, this is what it did. This dashboard will show, it says, entry counts for all sections, articles, adventures, beer styles. Those are real sections, so it read through what we had available. system information, plugin status information, and recent user activity. Would you like me to help you test any specific functionality? I think we're okay right now.
Let's try it.
Let me go back to Claude really quick. Okay, so it created all these files for us.
Oh my goodness.
And then it told us what the file structure needs to be. And so this would be a situation where we would have to go do that on our own. Now, Matt was talking about the command line version of this. I have never used that. So maybe that would be...
He's saying that it would be similar to what you were doing in Warp if you did it that way.
Got it. All right, so let's just see what Warp has done for us here. All right, let's reload. Okay, here's site overview over here. Okay, I don't get... All right, there we go. Error fetching statistics. Calling unknown method craft web application get sections.
You know why?
Actually, was that removed in favor of get section?
Yep. So it goes back to my thesis that they were using, some kind of plugin code that they got from older versions of Craft.
Yeah.
Craft 5 deprecated the section service. So now you probably, depending on the code, will replace that with get entries.
Okay. So let's see. So I don't know, I don't have, I'm going to assume I don't have you.
Now, Matt is saying to copy and paste that error into the terminal.
No, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's.
Oh, okay.
That's what vibe coding is. I shouldn't have to do anything except if there's an error, I just paste it in.
I'm curious though. Come on, Ryan. Let me see the code.
We're
I want
vibing.
to see the code before it fixes it. Damn it. All right, we're vibing.
We're vibing, man. It says it sees the issue in Craft CMS 5. The section service needs to be accessed through the project config. Let's fix the statistics.
I don't think that's going to fix it the way that they think, but go ahead and let it try.
I need to update get entry count for section method in the statistics service to fix an error. The error occurs because we're trying to access get sections directly on the application object, which doesn't exist in Craft 5. In Craft 5, we should use the entries service to access sections.
There we go. All right.
Get sections to get entries.
Yep.
All right. Correct. So I can say apply changes. You can see it gives me this diff here, which is pretty cool. Apply changes. Okay, run. That's a good command. That's good. I guess it likes to clear the cache. Oh, what is this? DDEV craft PHP. Did you see what it did here?
Mm-hmm.
It's a DDEV craft PHP craft.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah.
It's running eval?
Oh what is it doing?
I think it's trying to test whether that's going to work or not.
Yeah. We're vibing though. I can't,
We are vibing.
We're vibing. Right? We're going to run this clear. It likes to clear the caches, I guess.
Apparently.
Plug and refresh. Is that even a command?
Plug in refresh. I've never heard of that.
I haven't either. I don't know why it wants to reinstall the plugin. Maybe it uninstalled it. Okay, now it's been reinstalled. All right.
All right, let's see if we get any errors anymore.
Hey.
Boom.
Look at that. System info. I mean, I feel like we just kind of recreated the one of the utilities panels.
Yeah.
System information. Styling is, they have the basics, right? They're using the panels here, but everything else is kind of garbage.
Sure.
Content statistics, total entries. This seems broken because there are definitely entries there. Plugin status. Look, it did like a nice little table view here. Recent users. And it has their
Okay.
status. I mean, could be worse. All right, let me say here, I'm going to tell Andrew that the content statistics are incorrect because those sections have entries.
All right.
The content statistics are incorrect because the sections listed have entries but show 0. Let's check if the section UIDs in our, because now I'm kind of curious about the code, and match the actual section UIDs in the project. Do you think they actually use the section UIDs in the code?
Maybe, which is okay.
I mean, for a project-specific plugin, yeah.
Right.
I need to update get entry count for section method in the statistics. Oh, hang on.
That's funny. It is hard coding it. Yeah. All right.
That's hilarious.
We got ourselves a junior dev here.
But, you know, maybe we can.
The reason why Ryan and I are laughing about it is because if you want this plugin to work anywhere, obviously you can't hard code the UUIDs, right?
Right.
Although this plugin does have, okay, if it was done properly, it wouldn't hard code anything. It would use Craft to figure out how many sections are there and loop through all of those arbitrary sections. Yeah. Can you tell it stop hard coding?
We can tell it to stop hard coding, but we're going to assume that we know that, right? Like maybe not. Maybe someone who's vibe coding won't know that.
Yeah, true.
So why does it want to touch the project config? Okay.
Matt is saying to look at the twig, it often defaults to Tailwind.
Oh.
I guess he means in terms of the styling, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. We're not going to peek at the code yet. We'll do that as the last hurrah. This is
I
more
just saw
fun.
You looking at code. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I'm only looking at what our pair programmer here is outputting to us.
All right.
I can see that. Oh, what is it doing? Let me see. Okay, it removed a comment. And it added some additional properties. Okay. Okay. Go. I'm gonna pretend I don't know anything about this.
Okay.
Oh,
There you go. Oh wait, section by UUID.
Let's see if we can get some direct entry counts. ddev exec php craft help grep. What is it even doing?
Trying to get help from Craft on using query? I don't know.
So it doesn't know that you can use, which goes back to your hypothesis that it's using an older version of Craft as its starting point. It doesn't know about ddev's Craft CMS project because it keeps using PHP Craft, more explicit to include all entries. I don't even know what this is doing anymore. I'm not sure what it's after. What are you doing? Now that we've simplified the entry queries, let's test one section directly. I think it's gone off and it's gone down a rabbit hole here, I feel like. The raw SQL. All right, it's removing entry query, entry find, debug, info, section handle.
You know, this whole experience, Ryan, reminds me of what your wife told me about you.
Oh, God.
Initially impressive, but ultimately disappointing.
26 years later.
Yeah.
So this, like, I feel like it was so close. I asked it to fix one thing, and then it just went, it took longer to fix that than it actually did to generate the whole thing. So I guess we can see some of the problems here. Andrew, remember last time when I talked about those concentric circles where the farther out you get from your core knowledge, the harder this type of thing becomes because you don't have
what we're doing. We should be able to tell it something more
No,
specific.
but I'm trying to simulate as if we didn't, though, because that's what.
All right. You're doing a good job, Ryan.
I'm just applying all the changes.
I'm just saying it's very convincing.
That I don't know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Thanks. I noticed in the entry here that we're using site ID. What are we doing here? Okay. I'm going to see if it actually runs still. It still runs. I don't think it's really done anything. All right, let's look at the code. I'm kind of tired of waiting to see what that thing is doing here. All right, plugins, site overview, source. All right, let's look at our plugin file. All right. Site overview. So created a variable that wasn't created anywhere else. Did it? Yeah, there's no. Okay.
And Matt is saying one of the best things to do is to hop out of the current session when the AI starts to loop like this. It has too much context.
Oh.
Because you would think the more context it has, the better it would do, but apparently not. Why is string underlined there? Oh, you just have the the PHP version set wrong for PHP.
Okay.
Storm.
Yeah, this is a new machine. I have not actually finished setting up PHP Storm. Okay. All right, so we're setting our service component. Registering.
This all looks pretty standard.
CP routes. I mean, this is the stuff that you would get with Craft Generator too. This, if you wanted to add a new thing, it'll generate that for you. All right, CP nav items, site overview. Sorry. Let me scroll down again. Oh, what was the icon? We were talking about that. Looks like it's just like
Is it a square?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Let me see.
That's impressive. There you go.
Oh,
wait a minute.
It didn't come. The mask one isn't working, it looks like. Oh, no, it is. Oh, that's weird. Why is it coming through like that? Maybe it's made incorrectly?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what that is. But okay.
So can you tell it in the prompt? Can you tell it don't hard code the section handles?
Okay.
Can you just say that like that? That's what I would try to do.
I'm gonna cancel it. All right. Yeah. So, update the plugin to not hard code it's the UIDs, right?
Yeah, UIDs.
So this isn't as much vibes now because.
Here we go. Dynamically fetch the sections instead of, yeah.
This will make the plugin more flexible and reusable.
But you're right. Someone new to Craft wouldn't know to do this, right? And then they would end up with a plugin that when someone adds a new section,
it doesn't work.
There's no statistics there for it.
Yeah. Internal error occurred at transport layer. All right, it looks like a stream error, unexpected internal error. All right, let's try again. So I upgraded my account to a paid account for this so that I wouldn't be rate limited on the number of requests. I think the free account you get like 150 requests per month or something like that, which is not enough.
Hassan says, I find it needs prompt to be like giving kids instructions, which, yeah, sounds right. And probably much like giving kids instructions, your results may vary. I don't know about your kids, but mine don't always follow the instructions.
All right, so here we go. We're removing this. I do like the diff output. What is it adding in? All right, get all sections.
And Matt is saying there are 2 in the sidebar. Look higher up. So I'm guessing there's a second icon.
Oh, good, Matt with the eagle eye.
Yeah, because that it is displayed there.
Oh yeah, right here. Oh, why are there 2? Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh.
Uh-oh. It's still working, right?
It's working on it, yeah.
Okay.
What do you think, Andrew?
We have 2 of them, Ryan.
How do we have 2? Andrew, you think you're going to vibe code your way to your next plugin? Are you convinced here?
You know, if it was something that was very new to me, I might use it to learn. But this, at least from what I'm seeing from this process, I would get very angry, Ryan. Honestly, like it would really piss me off. I'd spend the first 10 minutes looking at code that it messed up, and I'd say, it'd be easier for me to just write it myself, you know?
Yeah. All right. I found a syntax error.
Hassan says, my child also goes on a tangent rather than doing the task at hand. So it's kind of like we're saying, all right, son, go clean up your room. And the kid comes back with a frog that it pulled out of the pond, right? It's like, here, look, Dad, but I told you to clean your room. Oh, you know?
That's never happened in my house.
I'm sure, yeah.
All right. So now it said it's done what it's supposed to do. No, I don't want to verify anything. I'm going to verify it myself. All right. There we go. Is this one erroring too? Yeah. So they're both this. I wonder why we have 2.
I don't know.
All right. So vibe coding is we just paste in the error.
And this is the same thing. So it fixed it, but it's using the old section service again.
Yep.
Which we already told it.
Not to do that.
Yeah. Again, to use his kid analogy, I don't know about you, but I usually have to tell my kids more than 100 times not to do certain things, right? They keep doing them.
So it acknowledged this as if we didn't see it before. That's,
yeah.
I mean, that can be kind of frustrating to. Sure does like this cache thing.
This is
Oh,
bring your child to work day, Ryan.
So
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good, Ryan. I'm feeling really secure in my job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm feeling real good.
Now, maybe there would have been more success if we asked it to create a Python script that will recursively crawl through directories and files and rename certain files, certain things, right? That's a very explicit task that it's probably really good at.
And maybe if we told our kids to go eat the candy bar, they'd be more likely that they do it, right? Yeah, I get it.
Let's run through this then. So, all right, vibe coding. We haven't even looked at Claude. Honestly, this has been too much fun. All right, let's try one more. We're still getting errors. Here's the sad thing, Andrew, and this I think is probably what is frustrating for people, is that it was like 99% working and, fairly impressive for having just giving it natural language instructions. It created the plugin, it installed it, and it showed the stats, and it was missing one thing, and then now it's kind of gone off on a bender here.
But to be fair, what it created wasn't that great to begin with.
Well, yeah,
right?
but I mean, it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for something that, does the thing,
I am impressed that it's able to get the context of the craft project, that it's able to build all of this stuff. And now it's trying to use get sections, and you can't. Again, yeah,
it's not learning from itself.
Yeah,
there must be a limit with how this model works, where Matt said it has too much context, but it feels like at times it has no context in what it's doing. It doesn't remember.
Caroline says that AI is enough to get experts fired, while bosses make junior developers responsible for this. Yeah, there could be some not so great results. No, but it's trying to do the wrong thing. Go back to what it was saying it was going to try to do. It's trying to use sections when it should be using get entries, right? Yep. And it figured it out before.
Right. So Matt, what did he say? Hop out of the current session.
Yep.
So does that mean, and just go back into, and just tell it that you want to, or run it and just give it the error back again for this plugin maybe?
I don't know.
All right. Looking at the code, I see. So this, I'm sure this makes really riveting live streaming, Andrew, watching this thing make mistake over and over again.
Well, I think it probably is making some people feel better about themselves, to be honest with you, Ryan.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. Yeah. Let me backspace the exit. Okay, that's the exit out of it. All right.
All right.
What is it called? Site overview plugin is giving me, I can't type. Maybe I need AI to type for me. Giving me this error. Just make sure it's the right error still. Yeah. Okay.
And what happens if you insult the AI, Ryan?
I'm just not that type of person.
Like, what if you said, if it gets it wrong again, what if you said, like, what are you, stupid?
Oh, so now we're running into stream errors.
Huh.
Let's try again. Searching in CraftQuest. Okay, so it's rebuilding its context for the plugin. It's kind of like when back in the old days, Andrew, when you were in college and we just had no cable television, just like the rabbit ears on the TV, and it wasn't getting reception right, and people would bang on the side of the TV to fix the reception.
I don't know how old you are, Ryan, but I didn't have no rabbit ears in college.
That's what I feel like I'm doing here.
More satisfying to whack at television, though.
Yeah, honestly, this is really annoying. Does anyone really do this? And let me see if it worked. No, this is not correct. Matt is saying,
I do think it's funny that as AI gets better and better, people just continue to raise the bar for what it cannot do.
So they stay mad about it.
Stay mad about it.
I mean, it's kind of true that, but that's forward progress, though. I agree. The fact that it's
that's a true statement, but I also think it's true that we're trying to use AI to accomplish something that should be relatively easy based on the marketing that I hear about it, and it's falling a little short.
Agreed. All right. Well,
but when you think about it, when you zoom back, Craft CMS and this specific thing we're trying to have it solve is a real niche system in a huge ecosystem of programming, which itself is a niche of all the knowledge that these things know. It is impressive, and it still was impressive to me how it was able to get everything all set up to begin with. It's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. But it is getting stuck in a loop trying to fix this error that it did fix previously, And I didn't ask it to fix this error. I asked it to fix the entry count, and it's completely lost its mind.
So what if you told it replace get sections with get entries? Or is that too specific? Is that no longer vibing?
I don't think it's vibing then.
Yeah, because you'd have to know that that's what it was. Yeah.
Right.
It just said it.
Yep. After double checking, the correct way to access sections in Craft 5 is through Craft app get sites get sections.
There we go.
I'm
no,
just
get entries.
Oh, get entries. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Like this. Like I'm not even reading all of this because it's just writing
Matt
too
is
much
saying
stuff.
that vibe coding basically only works for basic websites and React.js.
React.
Well, it makes sense, right? It's what it has.
There's so many examples out there.
Knowledge base about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair to whichever model we're using here and Warp, the working plugin before I asked it to fix the entry count, I mean, that's kind of impressive that it did that with just like natural language prompts and nothing else.
So question, Ryan.
Yeah.
If you were a new developer, would you be better off after this hour we've spent on this is an honest question. Using AI to build this thing or using Craft Generator to generate the scaffolding for it?
You would I'm going to give an answer somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
Which is, well, I'm just hitting enter, by the way, to accept all of its suggestions because at this point, I'm just going to punish this thing. I would say in the middle, Craft Generator, yes. If this tool was good, it would have used Craft Generator to generate and scaffold the project. And then that gives you the bones for what you need. If you needed like implementation specific things, like how do you implement, CP nav items in Craft CMS 5, then I think the AI would probably be pretty decent at that. Or, what's a common pattern for, I don't know. Settings you get automatically. Well, maybe like a settings screen if you don't know how to code that.
That'd be similar to my take. With Craft Generator, it will generate code for you that is right, but you have to know what you want it to generate. Right. So if I wanted to add a sidebar, I may not have any idea what I need to do to add a sidebar. And I think the AI is way better about helping you out with that.
Yeah.
And
that's why, Andrew, I encourage everyone, once I have it completed and out, I'm working on, so I'm just transitioning to a pitch for my content.
Of course.
I'm working on a Craft CMS, extending Craft CMS like survey course and guide that's just giving people a lay of the land of all the different routes you can go without implementation details on like specific things. And I feel like that kind of thing you can't fake with AI at this point. If you don't have a lay of the land, you're not going to know whether the AI is guiding you in the right way. You're too far away from that center circle that I've talked about.
And maybe also Craft is too much of a niche that we can't really expect the AI to have a good knowledge base for building stuff.
But impressive that it has what it has.
Yep.
But
it did sort of lift the veil for me a little bit. As soon as I saw that it was using some of these older things, I'm like, oh, okay. I know what it's done.
Yeah.
It indexed or digested a bunch of old plugins to form as its basis of knowledge, right?
Yep.
And then it tried to generate based on that, and then it failed because it was not ready for Craft 5.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's just going in circles here, and I'm sort of enjoying this.
Really? Oh, look what it's doing now. Wait a minute. Okay. It looks like it sort of is doing it.
Yeah, it's kind of in goldfish mode, though.
What is goldfish mode, Ryan?
Well, where like, you know, a goldfish, they have a short memory. Once they circle around the tank, then they've
right.
forgotten where they were. And this is what it seems like it's doing here. Anyway, we did have a working plugin. There was nothing elegant about it, but as soon as we asked it to fix something, which was important because the stats were all 0, it completely lost its mind. As Matt suggested, I did back out and restart it and ask it to fix this error. It went through and looked at the project again, but it can't seem to get it working. At this point, Andrew, I probably could have looked this error up on Google and fixed this, or you know, yeah, I probably would have gotten to the craft docs. Yeah, so there you go. All right, real quick before we wrap up, let's look at
Craft update docs. Like they've got a specific doc for updating plugins from Craft 4 to 5. I wonder if you could tell it, use this as a guide when making the changes or something.
All right, we'll do that real quick here.
It's on like plugin update or something. There you go.
All right.
It should be a whole, separate page. Yeah.
All right, let me cancel this because it's... And I don't know if you saw that, but you could actually edit that code to tell it to do the right thing. But that's, to me, that's not staying within the guidelines of vibe coding. Update this plugin to work with Craft CMS 5 using this guide. Let's see if it'll actually... Okay, well, we're gonna... Oh, boy. It's almost like it's restarting here. The plugin class. What are you doing? Let's see. It's already set correctly. Is already set. Matches. New static. Was already, so no changes were needed. Would you like me to help you implement any additional craft features to make it? I guess it says we don't need to do anything. It's working just fine. There you go. So that's our plugin. We have two CP navs. Which is interesting.
So if you search on register CP nav item, you should probably find it more than once. Just search in, not in files, in this particular file. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Huh.
One. That's it.
Is there only one plugin file?
Yeah, I only see one. Wonder if it's, let me go to, yeah, there it is. Oh, it tries to go to GitHub. That's funny. I gave it a GitHub URL. Yeah. Anyway, I think we can wrap it up there. I guess Andrew, your work is safe. I don't think anyone's going to be vibe coding their way to SEO-matic at this point. For now. Now, if we did this a year ago, I think it would have been much different than what we just did. I don't think what we just did would have been possible. So the improvements that the models have made is impressive. But Yeah. I'm actually really super annoyed that it got stuck in that loop. That's kind of like, you know, I feel defeated. I was hoping for some like victory here where it all just worked, but it
It
didn't.
was a victory that it did work to begin with,
Yeah.
but I do think it shows an accurate reflection of where AI is, at least for a niche like Craft CMS at the moment, where it's helpful, but as Hassan said, like a child, it may not do exactly what you tell it.
Yep. All right. That's it. I think we've beaten this horse enough. Andrew, you and I, we go live on the first and third Thursday of every month, usually at noon Eastern. Today was a little delayed because I had a commitment that I had to be at, and we'll be back. So this is our second one. So we'll be back in a few weeks for our next live stream. I was just going to look that up really quick. 1, 2. So on 1, 2, in 3 weeks, on the 5th of June, we'll be back for our next live stream. And it will not be vibe coding. That's for sure. Let's get back to the good, like, hard learning, Andrew. Enough of this AI crap.
I think you can learn a lot from the AI.
No, you can learn a lot.
You just can't trust it.
Yep. And with debugging, it's a bummer because I feel like the debugging part is where it could be really powerful. And in this case, that's where it fell apart.
You should try, if we do it again, we should try Cursor and/or the AI that is built into PHP Storm.
Right. The
See
AI.
if they're any better at it. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Maybe I can do a separate video. That's not a live stream about that, and launch that. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks, everyone in the chat. I see Matt and Jonathan and Caroline. And who's out there? Hassan. Thanks for coming and hanging out. We will see you all on the next one. Take care.
Bye-bye.